if someone's got a cowbell hookup or like some secrets to cowbells, please at me.
What is up, my friends? Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Scope Exposure Podcast, and I am just ecstatic today. It's been very cool for me to kind of go off this mantra of like not just interviewing the main interview person of a band, which is usually the lead singer. I always like getting the different perspectives and getting to hear the stories and personalities of everyone in an entire project, and especially a project that I really, really love with all the Canadian love of my heart. And earlier in season 2, we completed, or I guess season 3. I'm stumbling on my words, but earlier in season 3, we completed the set of interviewing every single Knock Loose member, and another band that we were pretty much close to being able to complete the set, so to speak, was Speed from Australia. And this summer has been kind of stranger on the Scope side, but I got to see Speed earlier this year for the first Canadian show ever, and got to rub shoulders with all those guys. And I looked our guest today in the face. I'm like, "You're next on the podcast there, buddy." So without further ado, the animal of a man himself, Kane of SPEED, on the Scope Exposure Podcast. Thanks for joining me, man.
Thank you so much for having me, bro. Animal of a man.
It's I don't know. It was just funny to me watching that doc, because you would say animal of a man for everyone else, but no one got to dish it back to you, and you are clearly an animal of a man yourself. So
thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Yeah, I just didn't even know what to say. Just started to say the same thing for everyone in that. They're all animals. We're all animals.
Yeah. The gang called Speed, it's all animals. But gotta give respect to Kane as well. So obviously, Kane, we're gonna chat about a lot of the current stuff that Speed's up to. I'm very curious to hear about your origin into getting into drums and just playing music in general. But before we get into all of that, we have to check a bev. So it's tradition for the guests to go first to showcase what they're gonna be sipping on for the episode.
I'm just drinking some water, H2O, and the Nalgene.
Nice. Stickered up.
You can hear that.
Oh.
Shout out to my sponsors, Flat Spot, Speed, 108, Sato.
All the necessary pieces for a quality stickered water bottle.
Yeah. Got to stay hydrated. Still early, so I got hella dehydrated. I was actually sick past like 2 or 3 days, so just trying to like stay hydrated as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Are you someone who's it's pretty easy for you to be on top of your water intake, or do you need to be a little bit more disciplined on it?
I always kind of have a little water on me, so I'm always kind of like always sipping on water. If I don't have any water, I kind of like freak out. Like if I'm like out somewhere, I'm like, I need to go get some water. Mm-hmm. But I don't try to drink like a certain amount like every day. At least one of these a day is sweet, I think.
Right. Yeah. But you're pretty in check with because sometimes like as a big bev connoisseur myself, I find it's like, why do I feel like absolute dog shit? And I was like, oh, I've drank no water today. So I need to I try to be better as like having my water bottle is like the visual reminder that I need to keep up with that. But you seem to be a lot more in tune with it yourself.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. I'm like, why do I feel? Oh, yeah. I need some water. I need to hydrate.
Yeah. Well, for me, I have a pretty interesting bev for the show. You know, for me, I'm always about the like chasing the curiosities when I see something new that I've never had before. And I don't have like high expectations for this, but I think it's just because the can and the flavor is so crazy, I'm willing to give it a shot. So I'm drinking I think this brand is called Candy Can, and it's a birthday cake sparkling water. And it seems like their slogan goes, "Don't eat it, drink it." It doesn't have any sugar in it, which is pretty crazy considering it's birthday cake flavored. But
Yeah, what the hell? What the fuck?
but yeah, this will be my first time doing it. It might be one of those things where it's like a huge unlocked, or it's like the first and only time that this hits my lips. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I kind of need you to do like a quick taste review right now. Like,
Okay,
I'm
well,
really
first-
intrigued by this.
Well, first, let me cheers you. Very excited to finally have you on the show, and thanks for chatting with me today, bro.
Thanks for having me, bro. Cheers.
Okay. So that it has a birthday cake kick. It's like, it's not a slow burn. It's like straight to the face. That's interesting. It's one of those, like,
And
I
it's
don't know
like,
if I love it or hate it.
Yeah, right. And there's no sugar.
There's no sugar. I'm trying to see what else this is maybe packed with.
Is it carbonated? Like fizzy?
It's no, not really. No, not at all, actually. But it's got like, it says it's carbonated water, but it's pretty flat. Versus having something that's pretty crazy. But yeah, I don't know.
I need to try that.
There's a lot of crazy sweeteners on here that my that I just can't pronounce. But
yeah,
it's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of it's
like an energy drink.
No, it's just supposed to be a sparkling water, but
okay. Is it refreshing?
It's more of like a tasty treat than something that's refreshing. So I feel like this is like, yeah, if you're wanting a little like sweet surprise versus like, oh, I'm hydrated. You and I think are doing opposite things with our beverages here. So
yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah. Well, Kane, I'm very excited to have you on the show, man. You know, since it's your first time here on our show, I always like to get a bit of context about, you know, how people discover hardcore punk, DIY music, however you want to spin it. So can you talk to me about like the first time you were hearing that kind of music and kind of what put you on the path? And then we'll kind of get into some of the drumming beginnings for you.
Yeah. So I kind of got into hardcore I did get into hardcore through my brother-in-law, but wasn't my brother-in-law at the time. I kind of grew up just listening to, I don't know, Green Day and Millencolin and just like these random like this punk bands basically, just through my like siblings, my older sister Jade. And then, yeah, she started dating Mitch, who's now my brother-in-law. And yeah, he was also into like Green Day and Millencolin, just like a few like, you know, just I guess like entry like level like punk bands, and like he knew a lot more as well. Then he discovered hardcore. He was probably like, you know, 17, 18 or something. And then yeah, kind of introduced it to me. Took me to my first show when I was like 10, I think. And I think he took me because he didn't really have anyone to go with at this time. We just went to a show at like Embassy, which is just like, you know, 5 minutes around the corner from my house. Apparently it was like a Unbroken Wings show. At the time, I had no idea who they were.
Right.
Like Mitch just explained to me, like, do you want to come to this like this hardcore show? Like I've been going to these things and it's just like, it's sick. And he kind of gave me a heads up first about what to expect, because I had no idea, because I was just so young and like hadn't really been to anything like that before. So he's like, Yeah, so they kind of do this like thing there. It's like it's kind of like breakdancing, but like capoeira at the same time in this like mosh pit. And I was just like, well, that sounds sick. Like I definitely want to go. Like, um, and yeah, just I remember going there and just I don't know. I remember everyone like kind of staring at me and just being like, I don't know, because I was so young and just like, this little kid to set like this, real like kind of metal like hardcore show,
Yeah.
and yeah, I just kind of remember being like a bit like uncomfortable, but I was also like a real shy kid too, so it was just like, who knows if it's my perception's warped or whatever, but um yeah, and then just remember going there and just being like this is like crazy, and just seeing everyone like kind of like throw themselves around and like doing spin kicks and shit. But I also like grew up on Power Rangers, so like kind of doing all that kind of shit I think is
Ah,
fucking sick.
yeah. It was just Power Rangers
um
all the time, set to like dope riffs and breakdowns. That's sick.
yeah, yeah, straight up. But and then like pretty much ever since then I was just pretty hooked on like hardcore, and just kind of kept going to more local shows, and then yeah, slowly got like to start picking up on bands. Like pretty much like all the early bands I got into was because of my brother-in-law. So, and it's like bands like Donnybrook, like 50 Lions, which is Australian band. Um just like Terror and stuff, and just kind of just started from there. So those are like my
Right.
kind of like early entry bands.
Hmm. Yeah, like I didn't have the, I guess, like the older sibling or the old head in my scene who was taking me at such a young age. I definitely got into things a lot younger, but anytime I'm at a show now and I see someone who's like definitely like reaping the benefits of a gig being all ages, and it's like truly it's any age can walk through that room
Mm,
and experience it, and to see their like sometimes it's cool just to like watch them kind of like how are they reacting to it, like like it might be the first time that I've seen them at a show, but like it could be their second or third time seeing or going to a show in general. But it's cool to see, the awe in their eyes at times when everything is happening. So that's very, very
yeah.
cool that you got to experience that.
Yeah, I don't know, I always think back to that, and I'm just like, that's so like crazy how just kind of got like introduced to that, and to go to shows now and to see like younger kids. Like we haven't done too many like all ages shows, but when we have and we see like younger kids there, it's like it's always like just like stokes me out, because I don't know, it just reminds me of myself really. So
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
um
Who's
yeah,
your
like it
favorite
stokes me
Power
out. Yeah.
Ranger?
Oh, I guess Tommy. He was the coolest. The Green Ranger. He was the
The
best.
green one? Okay.
Yeah, I'd say so. That like the red one, and and obviously like Tommy when he went to the White Ranger, that was pretty sick.
Yeah. Big upgrade. Cool. So,
Yeah.
for people that really know, you also play bass in Relentless, and I'm just kind of curious if like playing guitar and I guess like more stringed instruments came first for you versus drums. What kind of was the first thing that kind of hit your creative plate?
Well, because so my older brother Dean, who drums in like Relentless and like Primitive Blast as well, he was learning drums first from like a real young age, and then so I kind of just like adopted it just through him basically. Just his kit was always set up in his room. I would have been like 5 years old, just like jumping on the kit, doing like We Will Rock You beats and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I kind of like picked up that first, but never took it seriously. I kind of always like thought it was, it was his instrument, so I'm not gonna like, just become another drummer. So
Right. Yeah.
um, so the first main instrument was like bass guitar, and I actually like went to lessons and stuff, and like learned how to play. So, and because my whole family is like kind of like musical, like Dean plays drums, my sister like plays guitar and like plays piano and sings, and my older sister sings as well. She can't play stuff too well, so I think she tried to play guitar, she just couldn't pick it up. But
Sure. Yeah.
and then and I learned bass, and then I did that for like, I don't know. I always like kept playing it, but then I end up playing guitar as well and doing guitar lessons and learning how to play guitar too. So play a bit of everything now, which is kind of real fun.
Yeah. Well,
Good for writing and stuff.
that's a good problem to have as far as like being versed in all the different things. It is funny though, because if you come from a musical household, it's very rare for like, you know, if the downstairs is the jam space, like to have two drum sets specifically, because you know you're probably like, oh well, if my brother's like jamming and he is the drum set, like, well, maybe like when there's two guitarists, you can kind of like trade off and like teach each other stuff, but you know, you're not gonna have two drum sets. But as you were saying that, I was thinking back to a friend back home. His dad was a drummer, and then he picked up drums, and they had two drum sets. So when we were fucking around with just like not even any band stuff, we were just kind of like dicking around with different music things. His dad would come down, and then we'd have like a dual drum off at times, which was definitely very, very funny. But for most households, if you have one drum set, that's probably, if you have one drum in the house, it's probably gonna fill any family jam times per se. But it's funny how that kind of like ended up kind of being the first thing, but then you took bass. But you know, people, as far as like getting into hardcore now, who meet you only think of you as a drummer versus as a bassist as well.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird to, I don't know, be doing drums and speed now, and like just watching everything like just go the way it has so far. And to be playing drums, it's just like, I was like, I don't know, I never thought I'd be doing this. Like if anything, I thought it'd be bass or something. But with drums, I never thought I'd kind of be at like this scale or level. Like I always thought I'd be drumming just in a small hardcore band, you know, would probably last like a couple years and just fade out or whatever, like, you know, as they kind of do sometimes. But yeah, so it's kind of really sick to kind of keep doing this, and kind of been really pushing myself to like get better as well, because never really, I don't know, had like lessons, I guess, with this one, but this is like my main instrument now. So
Well, yeah, and what's interesting, and again, this is kind of the cool thing of, you know, not just interviewing just Jam or just Aaron. It, you know, I've talked to all of you guys, you know, like on DM and in person and on the podcast as well. But you know, Dennis, when he was on the podcast, we were just talking about how, you know, him playing in Relentless with you, you know, you guys almost had this whole like life of going to the States and playing shows and trying to do the thing as an Australian hardcore band, but not having the same, I guess, reaction that Speed is obviously getting. Obviously, there's so many aspects and different things as to why, you know, one band pops and one doesn't. And especially, I think the times are a lot different from when Relentless was doing stuff to how Speed is very active right now. But yeah, is that still a little trippy for you to think back and kind of like you and Dennis had this period of your life where you kind of, you know, spent your, not like glory years, but a lot of your 20s doing a lot of that. And now later in life, something actually pops where it's maybe a little bit more sustainable. There's more reward to the risk that you guys are putting out there. Is that still like kind of trippy? Like it's trippy for me even just, and it's not even me, it's you.
Yeah, no, it's definitely trippy as fuck. Like especially doing Relentless, like I never thought I'd do the things I did with Relentless, and then to do like everything we did like was like such an accomplishment. And then kind of especially doing it with Dennis, and like my brother and just everyone in the, like all the guys in that band. So that was like a crazy accomplishment. And then I didn't think I'd be doing it all again, basically. Or so much more, if anything, let alone on drums. So yeah, to kind of start like speed with Dennis, and just do all this stuff again, and if not more. Like it's funny and crazy. Like we never thought we'd be doing this again, I think.
Right.
And yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought of
No,
what I was going to say, but
I was gonna ask though, like, have you played venues and like different spots in the States that you played in Relentless, but like maybe show attendee wise, it was like night and day difference?
I don't think so.
Or not even in
It's
the
all a bit of
States,
a
but I'm
blur
sure
now.
there's some in Australia as well.
Yeah, definitely in Australia. But I guess more in Australia too. Like there's, it is hard for me to remember. It was like it's like about 10 years ago now. So like, it's kind of cool doing the stuff again with speed, and like, we play venues like back here at home. And to just see how like differently it packs out or anything like that. But yeah, even like overseas as well. It's the same thing. Like, it's just kind of like, trippy to, I don't know, have like different responses and stuff for like pretty much all over the world.
Right.
But and once again, it's just trippy doing it with like Dennis. When Jem said like when he was like kind of forming the band, like, and he said he wanted to get Dennis, like, I was like, that's sick, like that's trippy, like that's crazy, yeah, sick, and like just telling me the whole lineup as well. I was just like, fuck yeah, and like it just felt like right as well. But it's definitely trippy and sick doing all these like similar venues as well. So
Yeah. Have there been people that I guess you met in your Relentless days that have like come up to you at like a speed show, and that could be anything of like in the middle, like Sydney or US. I'm sure you've, again, it's like a whole decade's worth, so it's kind of like crazy to kind of like, oh wow, okay, you're still here and you're keeping up with what I'm doing.
yeah. It's that's the coolest part, I think, is just like seeing like old faces or and new faces too. It's really cool to um like just meet people that just remember like me meeting them and stuff.
Mm.
Like especially like Southeast Asia got that a lot, and like have like photos from like like just 10 years ago, and just with these guys, and just like tripping out that it's like that they like full remember me from Relentless or something. I'm just like, oh shit, like I only came here once, and they're like just appreciate it so much. And it's just I don't know, it's kind of like it's real wholesome kind of doing all this again basically, and just seeing old faces and new faces as well. So
Right.
and just like I get like stoked out when I see like, I don't know, just like, I don't know, the guys from like Zabulba or something, or like Rotting Out, like anytime I see them, I kind of get like, I'm just like, whoa, what the fuck? But
Yeah. Okay, so
yeah.
speaking of that, like let's talk about like I guess the current happenings with speed. Like I saw you earlier in April when you guys kind of did your Eastern US and also your one and only Canada date, but even since then you guys have come back to the States, you've done Europe, you've done Japan, like it's just been go 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 mode all this year it seems for you guys. So how is kind of like the how have things been? Obviously, it looks like things have been good, but talk to me about just like the crazy year that you guys have had so far.
This year's definitely been crazy. Like looking back on it now, like it all kind of like meshes into one thing, and like I almost like can't, like it's hard to differentiate like where I was or whatever. Like I thought like doing this, like doing the band again, I would like try to be better at like just remembering where I am and knowing where I am and stuff, and just trying to have stories to tell and stuff. Like because with Relentless, I was just like, I don't know, I was so young and just on the ride and just like loving it. Like I kind of, it all became blurry, but it's definitely, I'm doing the same thing with speed, and if anything it's harder because we're just doing so much more. So
Sure. Yeah.
and with the excitement and stuff, but yeah, this whole year has been really sick. Like just like everything has been like crazy. So it's kind of been really good to like just be back now home for just a little bit, like a lot longer. And like we're just like working on like pre-pros and stuff now for like full length we want to do like release for next year.
Hmm.
So it's been good to really like slow down and just like focus on like just like recording and just like writing and everything, and like just really pushing like what we can do with like this new record and stuff. um and especially because it's just been so hectic, and like we've only just toured this like our like Gang Called Speed EP basically. So uh to go straight from that to just straight into like just getting this full length, like it's uh been crazy. So, and it's been hella fun. So
Yeah.
it's just like real exciting.
Yeah, I'm terrible as well. It's funny. It's so ironic that the person that films the shows and does all this stuff is like also so bad at like, being able to like take a photo on my phone of like, with my friends if I'm at a fest and just like kind of capturing those memories, because I feel like I'm either gigging or I'm filming, and I kind of lose some of that like, oh, like maybe I should smell the roses a little bit or take a picture of the roses at any point. So like I do kind of a poor job to kind of keep up with that, because I almost have this duality of like I want to like feel like I'm in the moment and I'm taking the snapshot
Mm.
with my eyes more so. But I think as you get older with age, like things start to blend together, like you're saying, and sometimes having the photo evidence is a nice way to kind of like really remember those kind of things correctly.
Yeah, I even try to like, I told myself at the start of the tour, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take heaps more photos and like videos on this trip. And then I just don't. I don't know if it's because like we spend heaps of time just like in the van. It's like, this is not exciting. This is not
Right.
memorable. Unless
Yeah.
something's happening, like Dennis eating like a fucking Rice Krispie or some shit, like trying to do it in one bite or whatever.
Rice Krispie
But
in
I
one
still won't
bite.
even like remember to get the camera out for that. Yeah. You try to
Hmm.
do that on the last like the Europe tour and stuff.
Oh,
I
okay.
feel like if you just put like Aaron's just figured out, if you put the camera in front of Dennis's face, he's gonna do anything.
So what you're telling me is next time I see you guys, just pull up with the camera and a Rice Krispie, and Dennis will just go to town.
Well, he might not now that I've
Oh yeah,
exposed it,
now that
but
we've every single speed show, everyone's bringing. Dude, if there's one thing I want the listeners, if you're at a speed show and you're not bringing Dennis a Rice Krispie, I don't know, but I'll reach out to
bring many
Dennis and be
treats. He
like,
loves a treat.
yeah, give this man his treats. So so I want to go back to just again, we've been talking about how cool it's been, like kind of doing the whole touring around the world and doing the band stuff on a different instrument that you first did it as. So on the drum side of things, like I thought it was very, very cool when I saw that you were sponsored by Zildjian. And like just again, like for anyone in a hardcore band of that kind of level to get some kind of deal like that, I think is a huge W. But I think the fact that it's also like a band from Australia, like where it's getting, like I don't know how that works, if there's like a division of Zildjian that's Australia based, or if it's just the overall company that's reaching out to you. Can you like clarify that for me and the other drummers who are curious about that?
Yeah. So it's just like a Zildjian endorsement. So and it's over, I guess, all of Zildjian.
Hmm.
But like it's Zildjian Australia that kind of like look after me and dynamic music as well. So I talked to like Justin from Dynamic, and he kind of just whenever I need something, I like we still like pay for it and stuff. It's just a nice discount. So
Of course. Yeah.
and but the best thing is it's like um yeah, like free replacement. So if I crack a cymbal, yeah, get a free replacement, which is like really nice. And just because we're playing so much, it's super handy to have that now. So,
Yeah, like
but it's yeah. Sorry.
no, I was just gonna like I had this conversation with one of my drummers. Like I do like I feel like playing drums is like the biggest blessing and a curse when it comes to music, because like you get to play the
Yeah,
coolest
straight
instrument,
up.
you get to like sit and you have the best seat in the house as far as seeing everything as far as your band and what's happening on stage. But like there's constant upkeep on cymbals, on skins, on pedals breaking, like sticks are going every
Yeah,
single
no,
show, and like I could
drums are the most fucking annoying.
exactly. But like it like when you're able to have, like, a hefty discount and then people who are taking care of you when, things break, like that eases the load a little bit when it comes to how much you're gigging with your shit.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's definitely really nice. And like I never thought I'd ever even get this like opportunity. So yeah, it's yeah, super grateful to kind of have this and stuff. But yeah, like with drums, like I guess it's yeah, definitely nice having that like kind of endorsement now, but it's still like super annoying and like just shooting drums. It's just I don't know. You go down like a rabbit hole sometimes and just sit there, just like boom, boom, just tapping and just I can get lost in it sometimes. It's
Mhm.
fucking.
You're like,
But
I just twisted this. Did anything
um,
actually change? Or am I just going crazy?
yeah, it's fucking straight up. Like you start like just not being able to hear the note or something. I don't know. It's fucking
Yeah.
such a headache. But it's also like the funnest instrument, that's for sure. Like I think I'd much rather be on the drums than bass now too. It just feels
Right.
a lot more comfortable and like yeah, I just love it. It's just like you can really like throw your energy into it and shit. So it's definitely rewarding and I definitely don't hate it, but I do hate it at the same time. But I also love it. I love hate it.
Yeah. It's a love-hate
So yeah.
relationship through and through. Um, so the other thing I wanted to kind of get I guess, your thoughts on is, when it's a band from when a band has to go overseas or essentially fly out for a specific show, um, like sometimes you can like rent a kit or you can rent some guitars or whatever that you're playing, but 9 times out of 10, like if you're flying somewhere and you're the guitarist or a bassist of a band, you can usually bring that on the flight. Drums, you can't really, you know, put that on the carousel because not it's gonna get broken for sure. So when Speed does like, tours that you guys have to fly to that destination first, I imagine that you're usually like, bar or like how are you getting a kit for that tour, or are you like kind of borrowing per show, and you're just bringing your cymbals? Like talk to me about like the logistics of what you have to work through for the type of touring you guys are doing.
So yeah, I think with our Europe tour, for example, like we had like we hired a kit for that for majority of that. Um, but like in the first show, I think in London, we just borrowed or used a house kit.
Hmm.
I think we ended up borrowing the kit. Yeah. Um, but yeah, pretty much. I think I'm just trying to think now too. I think for the States, like yeah, it's a lot of borrowing. So and that's like super handy and helpful and like I don't know, just nice too. Like we'll do the same thing for bands that come here. So it's like, yeah, always happy to lend a kit. But yeah, usually if I'm flying somewhere, I'll just take like my snare drum and like kick pedal and the cowbell. That's pretty essential now.
Right.
So yeah. And I'll definitely try and hire cymbals where I can, and that's just another yeah perk of the Zildjian endorsement, which is super handy. Don't have to
Mhm.
worry about like yeah cracking my cymbals again too much. So um yeah, so yeah, usually we would just like hire a kit or yeah, the locals usually help out and yeah, bring a kit. So
Yeah.
yeah, super stoked with that.
Yeah, like just off of the fact of how many shows that you guys have been playing, I'm sure like I don't know if you could even recall the amount of kits that you have played for a speed show that are not yours. Like I'm sure there's a pretty high number there.
I don't even ever play my own kit. It's only at home now.
Exactly.
Sometimes, like, yeah, like even if we do our own show, like sometimes there's a house kit, or like if it's good, like if it's decent, like I'll use a house kit. But if it's trash, yeah, I'll bring my own kit. But
Yeah.
yeah, like been super grateful to have heaps of friends always help out with that. And also just my brother Dean, like always having like a kit too, and he's got nice kits and stuff. So I'm always happy to use his stuff.
Yeah. So that begs the question,
Thanks,
like
Dean.
what? Yeah. Shout out to Dean. So that begs the question, like, what is Kane's at home like kit that you play? What's your preference of toms? Like, I want to get a little nerdy for like the drummers who are gonna be listening to this. But it's also just out of curiosity, again, because of you borrowing so many kits in your time. But what's your like your kit at home look like, and how's that spent?
Yeah, so I've got a Gretsch. I think it's a Catalina Club Rock. Yeah, it's like a big, like 24-inch, I think 24 by maybe 18-inch kick drum. So it's like shallow, but like kind of tall. And yeah, I think the rack tom is like, I don't know, like 11 inches or something. It's always a random number because every time like I buy like a drum head for that one, I've measured it as well. I swear it's 12, and then I buy the drum head and it's like 11 or some shit. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, so it's a random number. I feel like usually it's always like an even number or something, or I don't
Right.
know, not 11.
Is this the kit that you played for the live off the floor session at Chameleon Studios?
I think so. I can't remember if I even used. I think I did. Yeah, it's like a cream colored like kit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
just
think I
kind of
might have
I
used
pulled it
that.
up just to kind of like I think I've seen that kit before. And it makes sense for you to
Oh,
use that kit at like kind of this is like before shows even came back at the time. This video is like 3 years old.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Yeah,
but
this
that's
is
a nice
like my
kit.
one and only kit. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I love it. Like it's still sick. It's my first kit too. I only bought that like maybe like six years ago now.
Mhm.
I was actually drumming in like just like a kind of garage like indie rock band, and that's what I mainly bought it for. And then that just kind of like faded out a bit, and then I just started drumming in like more hardcore bands, so kind of
Mhm.
doing what I love.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. But it is cool that
yeah.
you're not picky about what you play. And I think that's a big thing that, I always tell people is like if you can find a way to still like make like playing a gig happen, but like removing all preferences, like who cares what kind of guitar you're playing? Like obviously there's going to be certain things that you need to do to do a set, like just bare minimum. And then there's going to be like a higher
Mhm.
level of bands that are a little bit more intricate. They have like samples and they do a bunch of crazy shit. But I think like just a regular raw hardcore band, like you should be able to roll into any town and hopefully the scene is gracious enough for people who are down just to like loan you shit. Like I can't tell you how many times like, Endgame was doing things in 2022 where we would just roll up. We would have guitars, basses, drums, like amps, everything set up for us. And it was just enabling us to play. And I think that's a big thing that I hope people listen to this podcast. Like, if you have a smaller scene, like, make it easy for the bands who are coming to your town to, like, use their drum kit, use their, like, have everything ready to go. So all it is a matter of people showing up and then showing them a good time.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, um, yeah, no, 100%. You said
Hmm.
it. Yeah, makes it super easy.
Right. So, with all the amount of, I guess, like shows that Speed has been up to this year, I wanted to kind of put you on the spot a little bit, and there's so many great drummers in the States, but I'm going to remove all of them here for a second because I think Speed has always been a band to me that's been highlighting, first off, Australian hardcore, but then all the, cool places that you guys have been going to as well. So off the top of your head, do you want to shout out 3 drummers that, states excluded, that you have been able to play with and see, and you feel like they deserve some props?
Wait, just in Australia?
So this could be in Australia. This could be like, we played with this band in Europe and they were fantastic. Or we played with this band in Japan. I just want to kind of like, yeah, but
Yeah, I'm definitely put on the spot here.
I'm sure you'll got some good Australian ones though.
Yeah. I guess like TUI definitely, like Beast Move, like watching him play and kind of share the stage with him in Sound of Fury. That was really sick. And yeah, like TUI is like definitely like it's one of my favorite bands and like one of the biggest influences for me.
For sure.
And yeah, always looked up to like Ian's like just creative like side and everything. So yeah, just to share the stage with him, that was sick. Who else was there? Oh yeah, I don't know. Like should I say shout out to like Biff from Nerve Damage. He like watching him play. He's probably like one of the greatest drummers of all time, I'd say. Like watching him play, I don't know how he does what he does. Is fucking insane. I'm trying to think of who else.
We got 2 so far.
Yeah. I don't know, just Nick Jett. Like he's like one of my biggest influences as well. And yeah, from Terra. Yeah, I think we haven't got to play with Terra. I think it's maybe once or twice. I don't know if I'm just getting confused. I think it was just one time, but them. I guess they're all there.
Yeah, that's
probably
a solid trio.
Yeah. But then obviously like my brother as well, and just he's my friends and shit. Like I don't know. Shout out to all the drummers. I fucking any drummer, man. They're all sick.
if you've ever hit a snare drum, shout out to you.
So, for real.
So Kane, this is a bit of a maybe a strange question, but anyone who's seen Speed live knows that you guys are not. Usually there's always a moment in a Speed set where Jem is not singing and Aaron is singing, or Dennis is on the mic, and there's a bit of a switch up of the instruments kind of mid set just for a specific song. But something I've noticed is that it seems like every single member gets to do this speed swap, so to speak, but not you. Because you're on the drums.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I guess this is something like I definitely want to do it, and everyone wants me to do it too. There was one point where we were going to do it and we're going to get my brother to play because, well, no one else in Speed can play drums and not well enough anyways. But
yeah.
I guess
I know Dennis is teaching himself right now, it seems. So maybe
he's working on it. And he's actually getting pretty good now, which is like really sick to see. And if Dennis can do the drums and I sing, I think that would be fucking like unreal. But yeah, I guess we'll have to pray for that day.
But, yeah. Dennis has to get his chops.
Still get to sing.
Yeah. So wait. So I need to fully plan this out. So Dennis moves to drums, and then I guess Jem moves to guitar, and then you're on vocals.
Yeah.
That's how
I guess so.
Dude, I hope that there's one
do this,
day.
I think once before.
Yeah. Like even if it's your brother, like I think the fact that if Dennis can do it and it's like a true in-house speed swap, and we can include this part of the podcast where we talk about it to the clip of you doing it, that would be fucking perfect. Do you have a
I'll
specific
shout you out
song
when we
that you
do
would
it.
want to do?
Oh fuck, nah, I don't know. I don't even know the words to like half our songs, so like I think I do, then I'll be singing it. I'm like, I don't think that's right, and I ask them, "Is this what you say?" Like, I do not say that. So, um, yeah, I just can't pay attention. So,
Right.
but yeah, yeah, I have no idea, not yet.
Hmm.
I
So
don't think I even know if I could do it.
you can do it. I believe in you, Kane.
I could do it. I could
There
do it.
needs to
I could do
be
it.
a speed set where it literally every single song, it's like literally a rotation of different shit for of different members on
Mm,
different shit. But I love that you guys do that, and I know that like some bands do that to a degree, but like the fact that you guys like really relish in it is like super super cool. Um, but
yeah,
on
I
that
love it.
note, you know, you were mentioning a little earlier how you're always traveling with your cymbals. Well, not always, but you're always traveling with your snare, your kick pedals, and your cowbell and your cowbell. What goes into buying a
Yeah,
quality
cowbell.
cowbell?
Gotta carry around that lucky cow testicle.
Yeah, yeah, the cowbell. But I've never bought a
So
cowbell, so
I got distracted by a cow ball, but what was
no,
the
that's
question
fine.
again?
No. I'm sure a lot of people got distracted when they heard that. What goes into buying a quality cowbell? Because I'm sure there's
Oh,
some
dude, I
like
have,
entry level ones
I have,
versus.
yeah, I have no idea. Like that's, I've been trying to figure that out like myself now because I just had this one that's just been lying around the house forever, I guess, since Dean started playing drums,
Mm,
and it wasn't until Jem, like made like wrote like "We See You" and then like added the cowbell in there. Like I even know if people know there's a cowbell in there, but it's just like
mm-hmm.
4 beats basically on the cowbell. And yeah, I was like, all right, I got to just kind of have this like crappy old this rusty just cowbell. So I've just been using that ever since. Um, yeah, I just bought one just recently, and it's like chrome and like looks sick, but it just doesn't have the same tone or isn't as loud as like
It doesn't have the
what.
character that your first one has.
Yeah. And I guess usually like I don't know, like on the Zildjian like website they have like, you can play what the symbol sounds like, but I guess everywhere else on the internet, like for cowbells anyways, it's really hard to find that. So and there's no
There's
like
no
I don't know if
cowbells
there's a
R
cowbell
Us.
shop around. I don't know. I've been Yeah, like that's what I really need is to be able to sit there and hit like each cowbell and really find the right one. But I have no idea. I know Candace like got me a like this massive like 10-inch like cowbell for uh back on the map I think this year,
Mm-hmm.
and like that thing was sick, but it was like so big, and like when I had to set it up, it was like kind of like right in like the way. So I'm kind of got like real Devo. I didn't get to use that one, but it was fucking huge. So having a big cowbell would be fucking sick. But yeah,
Right.
I'm not a cowbell connoisseur, so I have no idea.
Yeah. I just like the visual of you going to a music store and like lining up every single cowbell that they have and just going and just being like with like hit it. Boonk. And
Yeah.
then going and going through like 20 different cowbells, and there's like the salesperson like standing there, and you're like, I'll go with this one off of like the 17th one that you've
Yeah.
tried. So
Yeah. I think if I do that, like I'm definitely gonna bring the OG cowbell and then just compare, just keep
yeah,
hitting
yeah.
them. Who knows? I
You're
might not
trying to
even find
find the
like the one that's
closest
just
to
as
that.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, or one that just looks sick, but I don't know if it sounds shit, and then I'm not gonna use it. But
That's right.
yeah, if someone's got a cowbell hookup or like some secrets to cowbells, please at me.
Let's educate Kane on the cow. I want to be educated myself too. I feel like there's a lot of
Yeah,
people there's more and more people that are utilizing the cowbells. I know that like Turnstile plays with Daniel plays with 2 cowbells, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and I think it kind of like that fusion or like it's almost like samba or something. I don't even
Hmm.
know. Like the go-go kind of beat stuff, but
Yeah, we need to get him on
yeah,
this call right
I can't.
now and to kind of make sure.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah, but it's a big cowbell world out there. Like there's heaps of different ones, and like
It's a big cowbell world
it's
out
actually kind
there.
of crazy. It's kind of overwhelming. Like you see people with like playing kits where it's just like yeah, just the cowbells or like salsa bells or yeah, it's crazy.
Hmm.
Crazy world out there.
Is there anything like on the drumming side where you've gone into like a store and you've been like, I've never seen a hardcore band rock this on their kit, but I'm like kind of curious if that could ever work. Like I'm sure like even with the Zildjian hookup, like I'm sure there's specific things that like you're like, oh, this isn't like normal for bands to do, but like, should I get that just to see if that's like a cool little thing to try out? Like,
So you kind of cut out there, but are you asking like, is there something in like a music shop where it's like, yeah, like a cool little standout or like
yeah,
something
like if
I
there's
could
any
use?
symbols that are like off the beaten path, that it's not just hats, crash, ride, and China. Is there anything? Have you
Yeah,
seen
I'm
anything that
definitely
you're
like,
kind of curious about?
yeah, I'm definitely like on the lookout a little bit. That's for like, I don't know, something that's always different, but also kind of sounds hard. Like I've gone like my kit's always just like slowly expanded. Like when I first started, I was only using like hats, like one crash and like a ride that I would like use as a crash, like real simple, like single kick. Um, so I bought like a sample pad and to just like use and just play like dumb sounds and stuff, like fart sounds or whatever, but haven't fully incorporated that into like the set yet. Like I brought it to prac once and it just ended up turning into a joke, and I was doing fart sounds like all the time, or just like punch sounds, or just
Right.
meme sounds, like stupid, dumb, annoying shit. And like I think I'm already kind of annoying, so like I feel like that would just like enable me too much, and then I might not. I don't know. People might start hating me or loving me. I don't know. You
Could be
decide, people.
one or the
Um,
other.
yeah.
Could, could,
But sorry.
so this is my ADHD brain going. Could I, if I was to make a suggestion, and this could either happen on recording on the new LP, or I think doing this live would be epic. If you had a giant gong behind you, so you could just fucking like in
Yeah.
between songs or just like at the end of song, just hit that and just that would be like the best way to end a song. But
Yeah, that's how we definitely I definitely want that. I don't know how we'll do it, or like it's something we've spoken about for ages, like especially like I swear I can't remember, I think we had a gong in like the EP after something. I don't know if we did that live or if it was on the actual EP. I can't remember, but yeah, we definitely want to like bring that to life, and
mhm.
yeah, having a giant gong behind me would be just fucking hectic.
Dude, you
So
would have your own cymbal bag
Zildjian,
and then this
please hook
giant
it up.
Zildjian Gong for Speed 2024. Let's fucking do it. Yeah,
Every show, giant gong, no
every
matter how small.
every show. I don't want any other hardcore band playing with a gong until Speed can do it. So don't take that idea and run with it. That's a Speed exclusive.
Oh,
I'm looking on Zildjian's website and they got some.
Big Chili Peppers do that.
Do they have a gong? I
Mm,
guess
yeah, well, we saw him with Post Malone. He had like a giant gong. I was like, "Fuck, I need that." I think it's a feisty one or something, but
yeah.
I
Zildjian's got
was
some
like,
good
"That's the
looking
level we got to
gongs on
get
there.
to get the gong."
Yeah. Like I don't like 20-inch. Like
Stadium rock.
yeah, I want like a 30-inch crazy like over the top looking gong that has like the Sato
I need to
like
be like
branding
taller
on
than
it.
me. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like however tall I am. Like, I don't know, just over 6 foot, please.
Right. It's backdrop and then gong and then backline. That's the order of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude.
Yeah.
I hope to see that one day.
Yeah, that'd be a
Well,
dream come true.
dude, And then there's just like a wooden mallet that like people can just like pass around and fucking smack it. But man,
People line up. Everyone on
Gong
stage
core.
lines up.
Yeah, exactly.
Gong core.
Yeah. Kane, one of the last things I wanted to talk to you about, looking through your socials there, I know that you're a big avid skateboarder. And I know that it's always like skateboarding kind of missed me in a sense when I was growing up, but like I still don't understand. Like it perplexes me how people will still be avid skaters even on tour, and they run that risk of like spilling and like spraining something, breaking something, or like stuff like that. So I don't know if you are doing that while speed's on the road, or you're like, I'll just do that once I'm back home. Do you like not have as much time for it nowadays since you're touring, or do you always have a skateboard on you?
Yeah. So these days I actually don't like skate as much, like at all. If anything, like I pretty much like don't skate. And that's just due to injury. Like so I like popped my shoulder out skating like maybe 2 years ago. And it was like, yeah, pretty bad. Like it just popped all the way out. And like it didn't go back in for like maybe like 5 minutes, and then I just kind of popped it back in myself somehow. And then I was still skating after that, like once it healed and everything. But then I guess just with how busy the band was getting, and like I kind of need my arms to still drum. So I've kind of put skating just on hold for now anyways, until like maybe I get like surgery or something, because like my arm pops out like that easily. Like if I just like fling my arms up, so this is my bad one, I can't even move it as fast, but yeah, if I just like throw it up like that, like that's enough to just like pop it out.
Oh, okay. So
Which
this is
can
like an ongoing
even like
thing for you.
yeah. So once I popped it out the first time, I kind of just kept doing it. I'd like do it moshing, or like if I just fall over, like yeah, it pops out really easily. I think we're doing the film clip for. Sorry, I'm real wheezy.
You're all good.
There's like a noise coming from the chest. So I was like, yeah, we were filming the video for Not That Nice, and there was like a scene where like everyone's like jumping on top of me and stuff, and we're just jumping on top of each other, and someone just jumped on my shoulder and it's like popped out a little bit and then popped back in.
Shit.
And I was like, oh. And
Rudder's like, stop.
I can't remember
stop.
if this was. Yeah. I think this is like maybe I think it was before Sound and Fury. Can't remember. I don't know if it was before or after. It's all twisted, but yeah. So that was a bit stressful, but yeah, I definitely still love skateboarding. Like I grew up skating since I was like maybe like 9 or 10, or like 8, 9 or 10 or something. Like I kind of just got into it again through like my brother and everything, and just met some friends in school, and just that's just what we'd do. Like there's nothing else to do, so like especially like in St. Clair and like out west, like we didn't even have like a skate park, so I just kind of grew up skating like flat ground, and the curbs aren't like skatable like out here, like in Sydney or in Australia. Like you rarely find like skatable curbs, like so we just had nothing but like fucking like potholes with us ollie over, and I'll just my flat ground games, like I guess kind of strong, but everything else I'm like pretty like average at. But yeah, like it's a massive part of like my life still, and like yeah, like I just learned so much. Like like half my music taste is just because of like all the Tony Hawk's games, basically.
Of course, yeah.
And yeah, like it just goes hand in hand with like hardcore and like punk music and everything. Like it just, I don't know, I've kind of just fallen into all this that just fits perfectly in my life, which is, I don't know, I'm super grateful for. But yeah, I used to want to be like fucking like pro skateboarder. That was like my dream, but that was very far out of reach.
Yeah.
And for how old and how long I've been skating for, I think I should be a lot better than what I actually am. But yeah, could be better.
Yeah.
But
so
yeah, definitely don't skate as much as what I would love to.
Yeah. Are you planning on trying to either get surgery or get some kind of some procedures done so it isn't as popping as much, or is that a little bit more complicated
Yeah.
with logistics and scheduling of the band shit?
Yeah, like I definitely looked into it, but I think I don't know it's still risky as well because I don't know, like you still got to let it heal and you got physio and stuff. So
Right, of course.
and just the band's too busy, and like at least I can still drum. Like that's what I'm like kind of stoked I can still do. Um, so yeah, like luckily I can still drum. If I couldn't drum, then I definitely would have got the surgery like a long time ago and got it
Of
all
course.
sorted.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the fact I can still drum is something I can still like, put all my energy into, and it does hinder it too much. Like when I do pop it out and pop it back in, like it definitely like slows me down a bit. But yeah, just like plenty of practice like kind of fixes that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely won't get surgery anytime soon with how busy the band is. I'll probably just wait till I don't know, the band's not done. If it's never done, then I'm never getting surgery. So
Well, yeah, I think if you know, you know your body the best, obviously, but I hope that is, it either stays not like a very minimal problem, if anything, for you, versus it gets worse and worse over time. But this
thank you.
goes into the conversation if you're one day going to be doing a part of a speed swap and you're singing on the mic. No one jump on Kane when Kane is on the mic. You can, crowd
It's all
participate as
good. You
much
can
as you
probably jump on
want,
me,
but
but like I've been a bit out of like I was even like maybe in like mosh retirement a bit, but I've kind of come back a bit. I'm just super conscious of it. So if I'm like stage diving, like I'm just keeping it close to my body. It's like when I like flail it out and like it's just in like a vulnerable position. It
right.
pops out easily. But if I'm on stage, like fucking I'm holding it in. Like
Of course.
you can try and pop it out. I'll fucking yeah. I'll probably try and pop theirs out. But
Yeah. Is there anyone like I'm guessing members of the band might have had to help you with that? Are there, because I've never been in that situation where I've had to like pop in like something like that. So is there like a specific, like, I'm just genuinely curious if there's like a specific method, or if it's just like it's just all about like pushing and or air, or I'm not sure. I've been very
yeah, I
fortunate
don't
in my
know.
life not to break any bones or have anything like that. So I'm very unaware
Yeah.
of that.
So yeah, I don't know if there's like a specific way. Like uh I've just managed to pop it in myself, just kind of like just bend over and just like let it dangle a bit, and yeah, it just kind of like popped itself back in.
Mhm.
There was one time where it didn't pop itself back in, and this is at like a Shinto show, and I was like practicing. I wasn't practicing. I was in the pit, like just like fucking throwing down. Had a couple of beers, so it was a bit loose, but yeah. And I just attempted like a butterfly kick just for like old school mosh days, and um, yeah, did like a try to do a butterfly kick, and I think I just collided with someone and just hit the ground and popped out and just didn't pop back in. And then uh yeah, I was like so stoked to see Shinto because they hadn't played for like um yeah, such a long time, and like yeah, I was just like super stoked to see them. I don't know if you know Shinto Katana. It's like
I
my
do not. I
yeah.
do not. I'm
It's
gonna have to check it out
Shinto
afterwards.
Katana, yeah. They're like old hardcore dudes that are yeah, like this doing this like mad like mosh metal band. It's
Mm.
my brother-in-law's band, by the way. So I've
Okay.
just grown up listening to them, love them. Shout out to Shinto Katana. um, and yeah, so super stoked to see them. Was moshing, popped my shoulder out, fucked that up, couldn't get it back in. I was trying to like smack it back in, push it, using all my might, couldn't fucking do it. And I was just like, this is fucked. Like, I think I need to go to hospital because apparently it just gets worse when you
When it's
can't
just
pop it
like,
back in.
yeah, hanging out. Right.
Yeah, and it's actually like probably the worst pain I've ever had. Because there's just so many nerves and shit. There's all the muscles like cramped up and like tense. It's just fucked.
Yeah.
And yeah, so shout out to Jem for, I think he ended up driving me to hospital. Like, just that car trip sucked. Just everything sucked about it. Couldn't get it popped back in for like an hour or two or something.
Oh,
just like in the waiting room. And this was like kind of during like COVID time too. So had to, just do like the COVID quick test or whatever.
right.
And and then they had to like gas me up. Like they gave me like morphine and like, happy gas and stuff. And then just started like just slowly raising it and like back down. And eventually it like kind of like popped itself back in. But it's never felt right. Like it's always kind of like just, I'm always playing with it. I've probably been massaging it the whole time during this whole like podcast. I don't know if you noticed,
I
but I'm
haven't
always kind of like
noticed.
just
No.
okay. Well, I'm always doing it. Like I'll be just talking to someone or doing
Right.
anything, like, or even on the drums. I'm always just like, just trying to like, fix it a bit. But I've never broken anything, luckily. Like, hopefully, I never do. Touch wood. So but this is like the worst injury I've had, and probably like one of the main injuries. And it sucks. I can't fucking do shit. Even getting out of bed sometimes, I'm like, got to be careful, or I don't know, just doing anything. Used to do Muay Thai, like had to put that on like hold now too. So did that for like 6 months and just had to put that on hold now. Like I stopped it because of COVID, and then popped my shoulder out during like kind of COVID time, and it all sucks. But
so when you pop it back in, is the pain like pretty much like gone immediately? Like, because I imagine like how you're saying how when it pops out, it's like, like your body is like having a reaction of like, this is not normal. But like once you pop it back in, is it like pretty subtle, or does it have a bit of like a burn still?
It's so like relieving when it finally goes back in, but it definitely hurts still. Like it's so tender after.
Right.
It's just so relieving because when it's out, like just the slightest movements just fucking just drill. So it's hella relieving, but it doesn't feel good. It kind of feels, I don't know, it's like cracking your knuckles or something. I don't know how to explain it. It's like I don't know. It feels kind of good, but it kind of it hurts a fuckload.
It's kind of like drumming. It's like you kind of love it, you kind of hate it sometimes.
It's kind of sick. It kind of sucks.
That's just the motto for most things. Well, Kane, it's been lovely having you on the pod. A couple last questions before we start to wrap up officially. I ask everyone who comes on the pod to end us with a favorite mosh related story, and that could be anything that's first your head. That could be wholesome, gruesome, happen at a speed show, happen at a relentless show. Whatever's the first thing to your head is how we start to end the show.
Like with myself or just anyone?
Anything it could be you, someone else, anything that's first your head. No rules, just has to be mosh
I guess like
related.
I guess the mosh thing, like is this the butterfly kick story for Shinto Katana. Like that kind of sucked, and I was like, I thought I was in the zone, I'm just killing it, just fucking try to spin like a butterfly kick, like just for old school like hardcore days and stuff. It's a famous move by Mitch from Shinto, so that's my brother-in-law. So it was like, a kind of whole respectful thing to him. Just fucking fucked it, hit someone, popped my shoulder out, went to hospital, got gassed up. That was sick. So that's probably my one of my highlight mosh stories, I think.
Yeah, you went into it in pretty great detail, so I'll allow it when it comes to sharing that as the mosh story. Like I said, Kane, it's been great chatting with you. I've been big fan of this project that you've been a part of, and getting to meet all of you guys, and how have all of you now on having a separate interview on the podcast, like really, really means a lot to me, and I really, really appreciate it. All the speed links and your links will be in the description and in the show notes. Anything you want to shout out, anything you want to plug, or anything you want to send the people off on?
No, just shout out to my guys in speed. Like I love these guys so much. Like we all just love each other like family now. So shout out to them on this whole journey. Like, I don't know. yeah, it's just been like unreal, like kind of doing this with them, and we all look out for each other and shit. So I feel like kind of like a real different person ever since like doing this band. But yeah, shout out to all my friends and family. Shout out to you, Spence. Shout out Flat Spot. Shout out Last Ride. Um, and yeah, just thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, of course, man. I'm very happy to, and I cannot for two things. I cannot wait to see you guys next time we're able to cross paths, and I'm very excited for whatever's on the horizon next year for Speed music wise. So I will be on the lookout, and I'm sure everyone else listening to this episode will as well. Thank you again for chatting. It's been a pleasure, bro.
Thank you, bro.